All right, back on the Twitch cast today, April 6, 2016. I'm in another room full of equestrian accoutrement.
Living the horsey dream is J-Mac. With his little glow around his head, he's like an angel living amongst the horses.
Mm-hmm.
Do you ever ride a horse on the horse farm?
I'm deathly afraid of horses. Like I think I'm maybe deathly.
You're living on a horse farm.
I may be more afraid of horses than snakes.
I mean, there's no excuse to be afraid of horses and live on a horse farm. Like maybe you're there for the purpose of beating your fear of horses.
I thought you were going to say maybe you were
for beating horses.
Beat horses. The thing is, it's cheap rent. They let me have dogs. It just happens to be on a horse farm.
Just happens, you know, like it's probably the only spot available for you in Houston, Texas, but you know.
Right.
I'm sure most people travel the world and look for horse farms to bed up on.
Right. Hey, horse farms need love too. Let's not talk about
Let's talk about all kinds of fun stuff. We took last week off for spring break. I don't know if you noticed, but the glow of my glorious tan from being on the beach, I wish it was because I had a nice relaxing. I don't call it a vacation. I call it a trip. Because, you know, with 3 kids, you don't relax ever.
Mm-hmm.
But, you know, there's times where I get to close my eyes on the beach for maybe 5 minutes before I was requested to go create damage control on the giant sandcastle we built. But
sure.
Anyway. All right, so let's talk about some cool stuff for the week. Quickly, we'll just go into our Land Center question of the week. This came up this past week with a good friend of mine who's been in the industry for a long time. And, you know, we're just kind of thinking deep thoughts about, you know, will land centers make it long term? Like, are land centers, is there a purpose for them? Are we just living the dream? You know, not a lot of people have made a ton of money. Not a lot of people have made it very long. You know, we're one of the oldest stores at over 11 years, 12 years this December. Whoop, whoop. But anyway, what will land centers make it long term? One of the things that I brought up was the fact that I do believe in my core that the human being still, I don't know that we're ever going to be like Wall-E on Disney, you know, where the humans are 7,000 pounds and they walk around on floating chairs with a screen in their face and they never realize that someone's next to them, floating down the aisle next to them. But I think humans are always going to desire that interaction. So whether it's, you know, the example I give people is, you know, I think bars are a perfect example. Like beer is super cheap to drink at home. If you just like beer or wine or mixed drinks or whatever it is you're into, it's super cheap to do that at home. But everybody goes out to the bars to drink because obviously you want to see other people. You want to meet people, whether it's you're trying to find somebody to date or marry, or whether you're just trying to find other guys that like sports like you do, or go to the bowling alley and be in the bowling league or whatever it is. You know, people just desire that human interaction. But in our industry specifically, I always think about the other side of the table. So if you're building a new game, if you're manufacturing a new headset, if you're trying to make new controllers, sticky pads, or thumb grips, or any like thing that you want to come up with for this industry, how do you market that? I recently talked to a developer out of Australia that made a really, really cool game. I just want to give them a shout out, but it's called Obliteracers. Like obliterate and racers together, Obliteracers. And my partner Sean found this game on Steam. It's a really, really cool concept. Is you put the game up and it runs on a PC that's connected to Wi-Fi. And anybody with a cell phone on the same Wi-Fi can scan a QR code on the screen, and then their phone becomes the controller in the race. And so 16 people can connect without any game pads or without any keyboards or mice or controllers of any kind. You can join in the race, and your objective is to stay at the screen. So 16 people, it's not split screen, it's 16 people on a screen racing, and you're shooting each other with rockets and knocking each other off with weapons and trying to stay up with the pack. If you fall back too far or you get knocked off, you're out of the race for that race, and only the winner gets to stay on the screen. I think it's a genius game. It's brilliant. I plan on using it maybe at Flat 12 Brewery in Indianapolis for a setup we're doing for them next week. Maybe in the Indianapolis 500 this year, out at the track, we'll set up a big screen and people walking by can join in the race, just using their cell phones on a little local Wi-Fi network. But I reached out to the developers and I said, hey, this game's cool. You guys want to get involved? How can we help promote you? And he's like, honestly, we're just like every other struggling little development company. We all quit our jobs. We love what we're doing, but we're making no money. We have no budget. We can't compete with games that have multi-million-dollar budgets to advertise the games. And all of those people have the same options, and they're all fighting for the same options to get out there. So you sign a big contract with GameStop, or you buy a bunch of ads on a lot of the major game sites that are online, or you partner with Microsoft or a big publishing company to try to get your game out there. They're all fighting for the same things, but at LAN centers, we have something extremely unique. And what we have is we have physical players in our stores, and we have the ability to reach players in a lot more immersive environment than just the chance of an ad or something appearing on your Twitch stream you're watching, or the little ad that pops up on whatever website you're on that Amazon decides you need to see that ad, or Google decides you need to see that ad. If you only have $50,000 marketing budget, what could you do with $50,000 to help get your game or your product known? We're very unique. So again, as we continue to build ggCircuit and bind these centers together and grow as a group, we're going to have a pretty unique marketing opportunity for these companies. And I think that's what's going to solidify the future of LAN centers in our space, is that we're going to have the ability to give these promoters something that they can't normally get. And for a price, at least initially, until we become huge and ginormous and we charge millions of dollars. But for now, it'll be at a reasonable price some of these guys can afford. So as we look into other things, like with eBlue, who's our new partner for season 5, we're looking at the ability to physically reach the customers with products, with a retail environment. So if you're selling a chair or you're selling a table, it's not that easy to have somebody buy a chair or a table on Amazon. It's a lot easier to buy a chair or table if you physically are there, and you can sit in the chair, you can sit next to the table, you can see what it's like, and you can put it in your truck or your back of your minivan or the trunk of your car and take it home. So some of those places are still going to be looking for brick and mortar stores, and we all know, the future of companies like Best Buy and places are in question because most of us use Amazon now. Most of the products we buy are not products that require a lot of touch and feel and hands-on experience with, whereas LAN centers can still afford to do that. We have options for multiple areas of revenue, not just customers paying us to be there, but product sponsors paying to get their products there, and then we can sell food and drink and a lot of other stuff. So I'm still as excited as ever about it. The big key that I've seen and the turnaround I've seen is this year with esports. Oh my gosh, like esports has been a buzzword for a few years now, and a lot of us at LAN centers run tournaments. We try to support our local play group, but man, is esports hot. Every other story that I read is, so-and-so invested so many millions of dollars in this esports venture, or these two companies got together and they're planning this new circuit. And, again, the stars are aligning. The writing's on the wall. You can see that this is just like 2004, 2005, where somebody said this to me the other day, but it's the rise of World Cyber Games again. The World Cyber Games, WCG, was sponsored by Samsung, and it was a world organization of bringing all these different games together in like an Olympics format to have players represent their countries and come together in just like this year, the Summer Olympics are in Rio in South America and Brazil. I think that that's coming again. I just saw an article today that a company is launching an e-games worldwide initiative for an Olympic-style competition for esports. So I think it's a great time to be a LAN center. I think it's a great time to, I just know by the number of calls and questions I get personally from this Twitch cast, from my blog that's online that I answer a lot of questions, or people just know eBash has been around. If you search for LAN centers or you search for starting a LAN center, chances are you've probably found your way to this video or to my blog or to eBash's site, and you've talked to me. And I'm surprised by how many people are paying me for consulting now, just to sit like this one-on-one and share whatever thoughts I've had on the industry for 11 years and give them some guidance. So I think it's a great time to be a LAN center, J-Mac.
The is the Obliteracers, is that obliteracers.com, or Do you know, like their website?
Yeah, it's on
I'm just
Steam.
trying. I'm
Yeah,
just giving them a
yeah, you
shout
just
out.
go on
Whatever.
Steam. Yeah, you go into Steam and you look for Obliteracers. It's very inexpensive. I think it's $15 to buy. Um, we're planning on running some shout outs for them at all the events we go to, and as we put the game up for people to play. In my mind, it's a genius game, like the guys from Battle and Brew who never pay attention to anything ggCircuit does, but their venue would be perfect for this. Like they've got a projector on the wall. They throw this up on a projector. Everybody's sitting there eating food, drinking beer. It gives me some ideas for what to do with our Indianapolis store. Like my thought was like, wouldn't it be cool to have a $500 Mario Party tournament on a Saturday night, or a Obliteracers tournament, or a Mario Kart tournament, where a lot of us older people can come in and play a game we all know and love in an esports style environment, but it's mostly centered around the party atmosphere and the group atmosphere, instead of it being as serious of an event. But if you put a little money in there for a prize, it just escalates the nature of that game a little bit. I don't know if mixing a $500 prize pool with drinking beer works, but I'll be willing to be the guy that tries it out. I don't know. All right.
Well,
yeah,
I mean,
go ahead.
I can think of multiple other things where substances are used and gambling is done, and yeah. I was also just giving a shout out to your blog. If people don't already know, I mean, sometimes when you put in Land Center, it's one of the first things that comes up, but it's Bozak.me is Zach's blog, and he talks about a lot of things Land Center related.
Yep, and I usually use that too as I get inquiries from new people. I'll send them to that blog and read through all the old posts, because a lot of the stuff that we've talked about over the years is still relevant today. So it's funny, but I'll look at a 5 or 6 or 7-year-old post on my blog, and it's spot on for what we're still trying to do today. It's maybe I like to think of it as I was before my time, but a lot of it is that the industry just wasn't ready yet. The economy wasn't ready. Technology wasn't ready. It's becoming pretty evident that esports is going to be mainstream for sure in our lifetime, but it may even be, JMac, that our kids are the ones that benefit from that and participate in some of that stuff, even at the high school and collegiate level, which will be super cool.
Yeah. All right.
So let's talk about ggCircuit updates. We got a lot of stuff to cover. We're going to cover some broad details with some upcoming events, and then we'll also go into we're going to send out an email newsletter this week with some updates, more of it. We'll get it posted on Facebook. We'll also what was the other place we were going to post it? As on the login screen for everybody that logs into ggCircuit. But WANdemonium 2. We talked about the Olympics earlier. WANdemonium 2 is set for April 29th, 30th, and May 1st. It's the date's in stone. That's when it's happening. That's 3 weeks from this weekend. Think about it as, again, the Olympics of game centers. We want to find the game centers that have the best players overall, well-rounded game players at their centers. So it's not the best League of Legends. It's not the best Counter-Strike. It's not the best Hearthstone. It's not the best Obliteracers or whatever the game is that we announce, but it is the best overall gamers. So what that means is, over the course of that weekend, each region of the world will have 6 brackets. Friday night, there'll be a bracket. You get your best team together. Each center only gets to enter 1 team. For the team games, you'll be able to enter 4 players for the individual games. So you're going to enter your best. Let's say League of Legends is on Friday night. You're going to enter your best League of Legends players from your stores. Now, one thing we didn't talk about in our meeting today, JMac, is that we're debating on putting a coin minimum, so that we don't want anybody bringing ringers in. You can't just bring the best League of Legends team from your local college. If they're not hanging out at your center, that's not part of your center. We want local players to represent your center. So we'll put some sort of coin minimum on there, maybe 10,000 coins. The player needs to have earned at least 10,000 coins at your store to be eligible to play for your store team and represent you. What are they playing for?
The dates again?
Yeah, April 29th. 30th and May 1st.
Okay.
So we're 3 weeks from this coming weekend is when we'll be having it. The matches will take place in each of the 5 regions around the world. As long as there's enough centers there, the minimum centers we need is 5 for each region. So if there's 5 centers in Europe that are willing to participate, the centers are going to buy in. All we're doing with the buy-in is making sure we get centers that will participate, and then we're going to turn around and give that money back to the winning centers. So we're not going to have a center say, yes, I'm in, and then not show up for that weekend's event. So it's $100. It shouldn't be that big of a deal for centers to chip in $100. All of it, whatever. If there's 10 centers, it's $1,000 prize pool for your region of the world. So if 5 centers show up in Europe, that's a $500 prize pool. That money goes to the center. The players are playing for 500,000 coins worldwide. So each region of the world is going to have 100,000 coins they're playing for. We've never done this before. This is the first time we've done this, where players can play for a gigantic bonus of coins. And it's also one of the reasons why we're giving the centers themselves the cash prizes to match with the coins their players are going to win. We don't want you to have to suffer if the players win a bunch of coins and come in and spend them at your center. So we're giving you the cash to cover those coins coming into your center. So Friday night, local time in Europe. Obviously, Europe's big. There's about 7 or 8 different time zones. So we'll try to work with the start time that matches the most centers in that time zone. League of Legends, let's say, will start bracket. Your team shows up. They enter the bracket. We give them the team they're playing. They match up with the other captain. They play a match. Loser walks. Single elimination. Winner scores 250 points for their team in a team game like League of Legends. At the end of that night, all the players that have played for your center and all the teams that have played in that bracket will have earned points for your center, and the players will only be able to win the player prize if the center is crowned the king of their region. So the next day on Saturday, we'll start 3 more matches. One will be midday, one will be afternoon, one will be evening. 3 more matches, 3 different games. Same thing, 1 bracket, single elimination. It's not a lot of work for you as a center. All you have to do is you have to get somebody to represent your center for each of these games. That's all you have to do. And they show up at that time, and they're going to play against players from your region in the same game. And at the end of the weekend, we'll crown the #1 center for that region of the world. It's a new format for WANdemonium. Our last WANdemonium was more about the players racing individually. This is more skill-based, bracket-based tournament play.
Now
So be prepared. Yeah, go ahead.
Let's do this coin breakdown though again.
Okay.
So 100,000 coins to each region,
Yep.
and then we talked about each participating player in the winning center splitting up that 100,000 coins, correct? Or just the winning team?
Right. So 100,000 coin prize in the Asia region will be split up 60-30-10 to the first, second, and third place teams.
Okay.
So if you're the first place team in Asia, or the first place center in Asia, you will win 60% of the prize pool for your center, and 60,000 coins will be divided up to your participating players. So if 10 players represented you over the weekend, each of those players will get 6,000 coins added to their account.
All right. Want to make sure I was clear. Yep.
So again, players are playing for coins. Centers will win cash. Will PayPal you the money to cover the coins that the players are winning, and they'll probably be redeeming them at your store. However, in the midst of all of this cool stuff going on, you're going to start seeing a lot of game keys dropped into the global prize vault from a lot of our sponsors. So those players will be able to redeem those for those as well. So a lot of stuff's getting ready to happen for centers all over the world in the ggCircuit system. It's again, it's just like the esports world. It's an exciting time to be a ggCircuit center. We're about to shower you. We're about to make it rain prize codes and game codes and things on you and your players. So be prepared for that as part of this as well. We're going to have a regional admin. We're reaching out. I'll just say who we're reaching out to. We're hoping Andreas does it for Europe from Escape Gaming. We're hoping that Ibrahim does it from Challenge Arena in the Middle East. We're hoping that maybe Hubby Sports will do it over in Asia, and we're hoping I'll probably do it. J-Mac and I'll do it here in the U.S., and then maybe Sebastian will do it for us down in South America. So those players will be those center owners will be the admins of the event, and they will be the ones kind of coordinating with the teams when their matches start and that sort of thing for their region, and helping push the brackets through for their region. Because again, we want this to be in your local time. So in Asia, you guys will be doing it well before I'm out of bed and I'm still getting my beauty sleep. So we need somebody from that region that'll handle those things. The games, tentative games, we know we're going to do CSGO. We know we're going to do League of Legends. We know we're going to do Hearthstone. We're debating on Rocket League. We're debating on maybe FIFA. We're debating on Trackmania. We're shooting for 6 different games. We're up for suggestions on that. Again, either the admins that are going to be running everything or any of the other centers that buy in. Your voice will be heard. Let us know what you want to play. We'll do majority rules type of thing. We want the most popular games, but we also want to do different genres. So I don't want to do League of Legends, Dota, Smite, all in the same region. If Dota is the biggest game in South America, it will be our MOBA for South America. Whereas League of Legends by far is the biggest game in North America, so League of Legends will be our MOBA in North America. All right. Anything else on WANdemonium, J-Mac?
Nope. The only other thing I think I had with that is that there's going to be some new WANdemonium pages within the next week popping up on the site, and so you'll be able to get full details on those sites.
Yeah, we're going to work on getting everybody printed material if you need it. We're going to work on getting everybody, banner graphics for your Facebook pages and all of those things. What we'll do at eBash, and this is again what I hope everybody does, is that we'll turn this event into many events leading up to it. So in the next few weeks, we'll hold like qualifying tournaments, or we'll start doing tryouts for players to represent us in these tournaments, to represent eBash at our Indianapolis and our Terre Haute location. Okay, Season 5. So that is April 29th, 30th, and May 1st. May 2nd, Season 5 starts. And it's exciting because not only is Alienware back as an overall sponsor for the grand prize with an Alienware Alpha, Alienware backpacks, Alienware t-shirts, for the overall season winners, but eBlue is coming in as a sponsor with $5,000 worth of prizes for players throughout the season. And so we'll be giving you more details on how those prizes will be developed. The change this season is that it's not going to be handicapped, Devin. All right, so just relax. It's not going to be handicapped. What it's going to do is each of your centers will be able to count the scores of your top players in games that ggCircuit supports. So for week 1, if CSGO is not fully out of beta yet, I'll just leave that as it is, but it will be League of Legends, it will be Dota 2, and it will be Smite. So we won't use 10 players for Smite. Most centers don't have 10 players, but we'll count, for example, the top 2 players in Smite from your store will represent your Smite score for your store. The top probably 5 Dota players will represent the Dota score for your store, and the top 10 League of Legends players will represent the League of Legends score for your store. It doesn't matter if your center's small, big, or large. It's just the top players for that week, and it will only count their top games played in ranked play. So nobody can cheat, nobody can boost, nobody can get in there and try to pad their stats by playing on the opposing team and giving the other guys, feeding the other guys or whatever. It'll be automated. It'll be up to date. It'll be on the sliders each week. We'll have automated social media posts going out by that time, announcing the winners. We'll be giving out Steam codes, eBlue equipment such as headsets, keyboards, mice, mouse pads, and then, of course, we got the big Alienware prizes. So Season 5 is going to be our biggest one yet. One thing I do want to touch on is that WANdemonium 3 and Season 6, which, again, is way in the future. We're not really focused on it now, but what you're seeing now is we're seeing sponsors and developers getting interested in supporting these from a game perspective. So we may start seeing some new games added into our system that are specifically being added in to be featured in the next season. So like I said, your scores for your players and your scores for your centers may be made up of new games that are being featured as part of the next season. We're not going to make it, we're reasonable. Like if it's a new game nobody's heard of, we're not going to say, hey, you need 10 players playing this game, scoring points for your center. But at the same point, we might give it as a baseline and just say, hey, if 10 players play your game, this new game for this season, you're going to get some bonus points for that to add to your center score. What that'll do is that'll allow us to bring in more sponsorship money, and those new companies will pay us. And so, we'll just provide more prizes to the prize pool as part of that sponsorship money coming in from that game to be able to have games played. It's going to be a busy 3 weeks. It's going to be a super busy 3 weeks for J-Mac and Ross and I getting all those things planned, but it's a necessity to get these things done early and fast so that you guys all have time to promote it and get it out in front of your players and your centers to get them ready for the next season. The trophy has got to come back from Anselmo in Brazil. We're going to get that over to Mongolia. They'll be able to show it off all next season, but it's up for grabs for the winner of the next season to stamp their center name on that trophy and be able to hold that trophy at their center for the approximately 10 to 12 weeks in the off season before the next winner's crown. That's all I got on that, J-Max. So you ready to move on?
Yeah.
All right, so let's move on to social media integration. That's again another big push for us in the next 2 to 3 weeks for centers.
Yeah, I was just pulling up a browser here real quick. If you give me just a moment.
Yeah, so you've
Just
been working on some templates, right?
in regards to the social media stuff, what I've been doing is really just kind of testing the waters right now, beginning just some beginning stages social media sharing from the ggCircuit perspective. I've gone through some ideas and had some graphics made and that kind of stuff, just that, and you'll start to see some hopefully on a daily basis of leader graphics and what happened this day in ggCircuit history and interesting stats, did you know stuff, just stuff to kind of bump up our social media stuff. We'll be tagging centers that are involved in these graphics, and then we'll also be using these graphics eventually as material for them to post on their own social media channels. So, and how we're going to be doing that is just taking these graphic templates and grabbing necessary data and basically overlaying that data on top of these graphic templates, and then we're kind of thinking something along the lines of a center being able to go in, being able to choose a specific time frame or a custom time frame, and being pulled, multiple graphics, multiple status updates, multiple I guess like email templates, that kind of thing, that will just automatically create whatever stats they decide to grab. And then down the road will also be just kind of an automatic, well, I guess as I think about this now, it'd be good just to kind of have a share this type of button on all those things that are created from their submissions, where they can just click one button, post it to their Facebook page, or if we get fancy enough with our technology, a automatic submission to their social media channel. So it's I'm working on it. I'm in very beginning stages, but it's happening.
Yeah, if anybody's used like Hootsuite or one of these third-party applications, what we want to do is that sort of thing where the center owner comes in and gives ggCircuit software permission to post as your page. And when you do that, then you can schedule us to be able to generate, because I don't know if anybody else is really good at it. Most of us have somebody manually doing that. Even if you schedule posts ahead of time, none of us are very good at keeping up with it. And that's what ggCircuit's all about, is automating that data tracking, automating the leaderboards, automating the competitions. So if we can take that data, whatever that cool data is that center cares about, and allow them every Monday to just have a post go to their social media for them, highlighting last week's top players, maybe surprise winners from last week, or whatever they choose to share. The users don't know that was a robot doing that for them. They think the owner just sat down and created this cool graphic and made all these things and then posted it that morning. That's what we want to do. We want to replace all of the manual tasks that none of us really do a good job of anyway, with this system that will just continually keep our name in front of, especially on Twitter. It's one of those that if you don't hit that 25-minute window when the guy's looking at the feed, it gets buried down low, and so you've just got to be constant. I think the thing I read was you don't want to spam a bunch at one time, but you want to have 10 to 15 posts a day on Twitter from your page, like your business account. And none of us that I know do a good job of 10 to 15 posts a day that are unique and spread out through the day. And it's a lot of work to create that many posts and that much content.
Yeah, yeah. Along the same lines with bumping up our uh, social media, we're going to start doing week in review videos where we have either a voiceover or someone on camera discussing center leaders, player leaders, upcoming events, that kind of thing. Also, things that you can share on your social media channel just so that your players know things that are going on ggCircuit wise, and being able to highlight your players, get their name up in lights, and so that they can share with their friends and say, look, I'm awesome at esports. My name's in this video. So be on the lookout for that in the next couple days, couple weeks, probably a couple days. I'm going to try to do it as close to Monday as I can, but like we've got 4 million things going on, so sometimes things slip for a couple days, but we'll be doing it.
Right. One of the things we're trying to get more consistent with is, as a ggCircuit as an organization, we're trying to get more consistent with every meeting every Wednesday. We've done a great job. I think even while I was gone last week on spring break, I feel like we're now at 7 or 8 in a row, where we've gotten together on Wednesday morning, and each of our staff shares what's going on for 5 minutes, what they've worked on, what they're going to work on, and if they need anything, and then we do a Q&A at the end. We end up spending an hour to an hour and a half together, and then when we come out of that, that's why we have a lot of updates for this show every Wednesday, and then at the same time, we want to take that and we want to produce other ways of reaching both our center owners and staff members, but also the players in ggCircuit. So we want to be really, really good and get really, really good at communicating what's going on, even though we talk about it every day. So it seems like old news inside of our company. That doesn't mean that every one of you out there has heard these messages even one time. And I think, again, I think people have to hear something 3 times or see something written 3 times to really stick and remember. And so the more that we communicate and the more that we talk about what's going on, the better chance we have of maybe getting the message through when we're not getting the message through as much these days. So, all right, so let's do a quick tip of the week. This is just a funny kind of thing, but I don't know if many of you have done this, but if you buy your drinks for your store, like if you have a snack or drink counter, you buy your drinks, you can get a free cooler, a free refrigerator. Pepsi, Coca-Cola, whoever your local distributor is, even the energy drink companies will bring you small coolers in. It's like one of their cool things, like you buy from us and we'll provide you this cooler because it's got their logos and everything on it. But so for eBash, we've been open in our Terre Haute store almost 12 years. I would say 10 years ago, a buddy of mine, I'm not even going to give this away because this is part of the story, but a buddy of mine had a business that was closed and had been closed for a year, and they had a Pepsi machine out in front of their business by the front door. It was an outdoor machine. It had just been sitting there and nobody had come to get it, even though the business had been closed forever. And so we went and picked it up and we brought it to eBash and we plugged it in and it worked good. And so for, I would say at least 10 years, that's been our Pepsi machine that we've used. We'll go to Sam's Club. We buy some drinks from some distributors, but that's been our Pepsi machine forever. Well, a couple weeks ago, we started buying from Pepsi directly because they have some products that we can't get at Sam's Club. And today, while I was gone, Dustin told me that somebody higher up from Pepsi came in because I gave Pepsi a hard time. They wanted me to buy Mountain Dew bottles from them at 99 cents a piece, and I buy them for 66 cents a piece at Sam's Club. So it's 50% more for a smaller bottle if I buy direct from Pepsi. And I'm like, no, I'm going to just keep going to Sam's Club and buying them. I get a bigger bottle and I make more money selling them to my customers. So this bigger, higher up came in today while I was gone and said, I know there's been some concern with pricing, so I wanted to talk to Zach about the pricing or whatever, but I do want to let you know that if you don't buy from us, we're going to have to take our Pepsi fridge back. And to me, that's hilarious because, it says Pepsi on it, and there's no registration number on it anywhere. There's no barcode. There's no sticker that says owned by Pepsi. There's no address. There's nothing on it at all. And the local distributor is not Pepsi. It's, a local company that distributes for Pepsi. So even their corporate name. So I cannot wait till the guy comes back in while I'm here because I want him to explain to me, exactly how that is his Pepsi machine. Like, what date did he deliver it to us? I'd like to see the documentation of where you delivered this machine to us. Or, like if you didn't deliver it to me, where did I get it from? Like because I know where I got it from, and I'm not going to tell him because I want him to tell me, but it's not his Pepsi machine. Like there's like, what is that called? It's not like eminent domain, but it's something like if you've owned something like, for this many years, it becomes yours,
I
doesn't
believe
it?
that's
That's
called.
my
I
machine.
believe that's called finders keepers, losers weepers.
Finders, keepers, losers, weepers. Like it's my machine. Like over my dead body, you'll come in and take this Pepsi machine away from me, just because I gave you the chance to supply me with your overpriced 20-ounce bottles. Doesn't mean that you can come in and try to claim dibs over my machine that I've had for. I mean, forever. We've been in this building 10 years in July, and we've had it at least that long. So it's been at least 10 years. And we just makes me mad. So I don't know if that's a tip or if it's a rant or what it is, but that was just something that happened today that I wanted to share as a funny story, because and I'll keep you posted. I'll keep you posted next week. I'll let you know if they've come and seized ownership and taken my Pepsi machine away from me or not.
So the tip of the week was what? Buy your drinks at Sam's, steal Pepsi machines, or just that distributors give coolers away.
Hey, in Indianapolis, I have a beautiful Coke machine that I bought from a guy in a questionable neighborhood of Indianapolis for $1,300 cash that I found on Craigslist, and I'm pretty sure the machine was brand new when I bought it from him. So I don't have a receipt, or there's not a registration number on it or an address, so who knows whose Coke machine that is. But I own that Coke machine. I know it. I paid $1,300 cash for it. So I don't know. I don't know. Maybe Coca-Cola will see this and they'll show up and try to take their Coke machine. Who knows?
Right. I'm not sure we should be telling your questionable business practices.
I know. So what's the moral of the story? I don't know. Buy your machine.
Well,
Use the rental machine. I don't know.
the moral of the story is, hey, if you don't have a drink cooler, ask your distributor, and they may provide one for you for free,
Right.
without having to go into questionable neighborhoods, or or potentially providing proof of stolen goods.
We should get a sponsor to sponsor coolers for the top center in ggCircuit.
Why don't you talk to
Shipping though. Shipping might be a problem. If I think shipping a headset to Hub Esports in Mongolia is an issue, I wonder
my
what
gosh.
shipping a drink cooler would be like.
Let's not even think about it. That's why we're doing so well with thinking outside the box in regards to distributing prices right now.
That's right. That's right. All right. That's all I got, buddy.
All right. So, WANdemonium, 3 weeks. After that weekend of WANdemonium, the new season starts.
Yep.
NVIDIA sponsors, eBlue sponsors. Keys are coming.
Keys are being rained.
You will be able to redeem these for your players, and it goes directly to their email. They put in that key, and they get it. So
Free games, free
that
in-game
by
codes.
itself should make your center want to be for ggCircuit. And I'm not even going to touch on what else could be coming from centers. You could
Don't
win.
say it.
You
Don't
could
say
win,
it. I know you want to say it.
You could win cash.
There's a
from
thousand good
WANdemonium.
reasons coming, I think.
Yeah. There's 1,000 good reasons that you want to leap on this train, and
Oh,
let's do it. All right. So, all right, that's it for now. I'll see you next week.
all right. Bye, buddy.
Bye.